I'm always super excited to see a new Armani Stronger With You flanker. Yeah, to some, the line may be overrated, but I do think a lot of them are actually really good. Stronger With You, absolutely. Stronger With You Oud, even intensely. A lot of them are fantastic. Now, they've been going pretty consistent with their exclusive editions. So, Dolce & Gabbana has done a similar thing with the One. They have, Royal Night, Luminous Night, Mysterious Night, things of that nature. Those are all exclusive editions. They're generally a bit more limited, they're more expensive, and they can be harder to get here in the US and Canada. Stronger With You is doing the same thing within this line. We have Stronger With You Oud, Leather, and now Amber. And I'm a big fan of amber in fragrances. I think it's going to play really well with this DNA, seeing it all amped up and everything like that. I'm super excited to try this one, so let's go ahead and get it broken open. Now, unfortunately, right now when you're watching this, it probably isn't in stock. It's not a big deal. If you sign up to my mailing list down below at the first link, the second this one comes in stock, I will send out an email to you guys, my email subscribers, so you guys can pick one up for yourself. In fact, when this first came in stock on Fragrance By, I sent out an email about it, and you guys bought it up, and it sold out pretty quickly after. And so people who weren't on the list likely didn't get one because by the time they would have ended up seeing it, it would have been sold out. Get on that mailing list. It's completely free. Anytime something good, hard to find, rare comes into stock, I send one out. This included. I'll be on the lookout and I'll be able to get you one here soon. The fact of the matter is, and it's unfortunate, but if I tried to time this video release with when this was in stock, it would probably sell out 5-10 minutes after the video was released anyway. You really just can't time video releases for stock like this. It just isn't really going to work. So I have to put these videos out even when you may not be able to buy it right now. But you'll be able to get hooked up soon if you're on the list. Here it is. Fantastic looking bottle. Doesn't really look all that different from the others. It has that obviously deeper amber color, which is coming from the bottle itself. The bottle has that deep amber tint to it. It isn't just the juice. I think the juice is probably on the more clear side, just looking at it. But it looks great. Nice gold accenting with the cap and everything on the front. Beautiful presentation. Just about what you would expect from the brand. Let's go ahead and get this one on skin. Do a couple good sprays here and we'll see what we have. You do get that amber a lot. It's a little bit animalic, ever so slightly. You do get that Stronger With You DNA also, but it's ambery. It almost has an ever so slightly smoky feel, and that could also be the tinge of that animalic feel also that you get off the opening. Immediately following a lot of vanilla. Okay, so vanilla, amber, kind of smoky, sexy creaminess, almost like a sticky amber accord in here. Smells beautiful. Great, great stuff here initially. One thing I will say right away, you can tell that this is an exclusive edition. You can tell that this is going to ultimately appeal to a limited audience. Stronger With You, the original, intensely, absolutely, freeze only. Those are mass produced and they're made available most everywhere for a reason. Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit tough to get here for whatever reason as well, but it's not an exclusive. It's meant for the mass market. Those you can tell, right? They're just going to play it about as safe as you can get. That's where the exclusive editions are really attractive for a lot of us collectors because it's them, in a way, throwing us a bone, even though I still don't think they're trying to target us and make us happy because we complain about things being similar, but it kind of feels that, hey, maybe they are trying to do that for us. Ultimately, Oud, Leather, and Amber, these exclusive ones are going to overall appeal to us a little bit more, and that's exactly what's going on here. That animalic touch, that heavy focus on the amber isn't something that would be as popular with the mass market. So the note breakdown really doesn't tell you a whole lot. I'll cover it anyway. It's got amber, it's got Madagascar vanilla, and it has lavender. You notice that they're not even including any of the chestnut or the tonka bean or, for example, a rum boozy accord like carrying over from Absolutely. They're not really including any of the other popular notes. They're kind of just focusing on seemingly what has changed and what is most prevalent with this one, which is revolving around the amber. The others do use vanilla as well, right? And a lavender, but really to me though, it's all about just the existing Stronger With You DNA, that tonka bean kind of sweetness with the vanilla, and then just more of an amber on top. Sticky, smoky, smooth. As it's drying down now, some of that animalic nature is actually kind of going away. But that off the opening though, you can pick up on it pretty easily. Now this one is an eau de parfum concentration, and I believe that all of the exclusive editions are. It would kind of make sense. So we'll have to see about performance. I can tell right now, just off my initial wearing and how it's behaving on my skin, it's going to be a softer one in terms of its projection and delivery. It's not going to be a huge room filler unless you were to abuse the sprayer on this one and go super heavy. Otherwise, it's going to be more of a personal scent. That being said, I'm pretty hopeful that it'll have the substance and the base to hang on to where we'll get a pretty good longevity number out of it. You know, if we could get 8, 9, maybe even lucky 10 hours out of this one longevity wise, I think that would be fantastic. You know, right around in that range, I think is more than doable for this DNA. But don't buy this thinking you're going to get a room filling projection monster either, because it just isn't coming across that way. I can tell pretty much immediately. If you want that, you'll want to go with absolutely intensely something along those lines. I think for a lot of us though, who are looking for something a little bit more enthusiast focused, you know, more of a personal scent is no problem at all. In terms of how much it's changing, the further it's drying down, the more it moves into the original Stronger With You DNA. Not to the point where now it's super redundant and it smells just like Stronger With You Eau de Toilette. Not to that level, but some of that chestnut is kind of coming through, that gourmand sweetness, just things of that nature are kind of starting to come into play. No booziness or anything like that from Absolutely, just very much that original DNA is shining through a little bit more. However, still a lot of focus on the vanilla here, still a lot of focus on the amber, as you would probably expect. Amber sometimes can come across a little bit more feminine. Now keep in mind, we're talking Stronger With You. It's using a bunch of vanilla and tonka bean and sweetness and chestnut gourmand, things of that nature, to where this line generally isn't coveted as a super masculine fragrance line to begin with. It's the more modern style of men's scent versus traditional, where things these days are trending towards a sweet direction. So it's not like you expect something that's an aromatic fougere out of something like this, but the increase of amber will kind of tip the scale a slight bit more for some people. You know, for me, it doesn't smell feminine at all in the slightest bit, but that's because I've smelled a lot of things. I don't really view fragrances in that type of way. I think for me, it takes a lot of florals or a ton of a really, really chocolatey floral sweetness to push it over to the feminine side. I think the focus on amber here kind of still complements everything else and does give it more of a men's scent type of smell overall. And then that animalic accord that you get off the opening also helps keep it from going too far in any sort of feminine direction. So I think for most of you guys, it isn't anything to worry about. But if you're someone who is solely looking for just, you know, the easiest to wear, you're just probably going to want to stick with the original lineup for that. But if you're looking for something different and you already are a big fan of the Stronger With You exclusive editions, you like oud, you like leather, this is one you would check out for sure. I prefer this one over leather. I can tell you that right away. Nothing wrong with Stronger With You leather. It never was one of my favorites. This is kind of right there neck and neck with Stronger With You oud right off the bat here. I think that one's fantastic. This one's also really good. So definitely one that you should look into getting if you are a fan of the lineup. You still want to get mass appeal. You still want to get seemingly probably going to be decent performance overall. This is one that I don't really see you going wrong with. Another thing, like I had mentioned, exclusive edition, they're going to be harder to get, going to be sold out more often than not. It's one of those deals where, you know, if you have any sort of interest, you're best off pulling the trigger when it becomes available to you. Worst case scenario, you get it in, you spray it a couple times, you don't like it. There is a market for resale. You can sell it for what you paid for it even after opening it up and spraying it most likely. And there you go. You've broken even, you know, and now you can move on to the next thing. So this type of thing, while it isn't like an easy blind buy because the amber might throw some off a little bit off the opening, it's easier when you know you can get your money back and you're kind of safe in that regard. I'm pretty happy with this one. I'll have to give it a full wearing and touch on it again in the future, but this is one I can see myself pulling off a lot in the cooler months. fall and winter time. Really like the opening. It smells fantastic. The dry down's great too, but getting that dose of amber off the top is really nice. Again, guys, get on the mailing list down below at the first link if you want to be able to grab this one when it comes in stock. I'll send out an email, and granted, they are going to go fast. Make sure you're checking your email often if you're on that list, because things like this do sell quick. But if you're there, you're going to have a significantly better chance of being able to get it when it's in stock versus if you weren't on the list at all. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.